Well, there are nearly 1.5 million people whose job search is taking much longer than they ever expected. And Damian Burkle from Professionals in Transition is here to give us some tips for keeping your family stable when you're going through long-term unemployment. So what is the first thing that you need to keep in mind when you lose your job?
I think the first and most important thing is don't let other people call and say, "Ooh, I'm sorry your husband or whoever lost their job." You need to, as difficult as it is, be out there, tell them gently, and let them know that things are going to change, but that you as a family unit are going to make it through.
Right. And so what, how does your life change when you're unemployed? I can only imagine.
Well, I mean, the first thing is the money.
Right.
The next thing is, if you're heavily invested in your work relationship, all of a sudden that's gone. Right.
Yeah, it's your ego.
Very humiliating, makes you feel very down. But probably the most important thing is learning how to manage the stress that naturally comes up in the family while maintaining a strong and daily job search.
And so what's your advice on that?
Well, I think there's several things I'd recommend. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Family members are concerned. It's kind of like secondhand job loss. You're watching the person go through it, but you can't necessarily influence. I think the other thing is try to separate your job search from your family life. I was a 24/7 job searcher.
Be hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you force yourself to do that, you kind of close that office door at the end of the day, you'll know that you've done everything you could do that particular day, and then you can get up the next day and be renewed and refreshed and move forward.
All right. Any final thoughts?
It's a long process. People are out of work longer.
Long time.
And the hardest thing is to not get discouraged. But I went through it 4 times, and you do survive.
All right. Thank you very much. And if you would like more information about Professionals in Transition, you can call them at 757-1099. Also, we have a link to their website in the Scene on 12 section of WXII12.com.